So here are the steering shafts, and I just wanted to go over a little bit of the differences here. Here is the third gen shaft. Now, this thing, first of all, when it's installed, this little cover clips over the line and hides this, and it looks neat, and it keeps it clean. But here's what everybody has a problem with, is this rag joint right here. This is essentially a flange that bolts to your steering box, and then this side is the steering shaft, and the only thing really, it's riveted together, but there's this leathery, rubbery, whatever, Kevlar, I don't know what the heck it is. And even using my hands, I can make it deflect. So there's gotta be some steering slop. There has to be some. It might be minute. This is actually a low mile example, and nothing wrong with this. I never felt any problems. Up at this end, there's like a ball. It's like a ball joint. Now I don't know that there's much slop in it, but it just doesn't feel like it would if it was at an angle. Like it would, like I'm feeling it grind. And I know there's not much of an angle, but again, I can't really. You know, I want this gone. I'm just going to replace it. So what we have in front of us here is 4 shafts. Starting at this side, this is a I guess a mid-90s Jeep Cherokee XJ steering shaft. You'll notice right off the bat it's too long, and these do not compress easily. Let me tell you something, pulling these off at the yard is a pain in the butt. I had to drop the steering box to get this sucker out, which is also not really fun because Jeeps like to rust, so bolts like to be difficult. What you have to do apparently is heat this up, and there's glue or some sealant in there that collapses it. The nice thing about, okay, I'll get into that in a second. These are all Astro van shafts or Safari shafts. From here back, they are identical. This end and this part of the sleeve that you see they all slide in and out nice are identical. This is the steering box end. On this end, you'll see these two are the same. This one has a really, it's a bigger, whatchamacallit. It's got a bigger, you know, connector on this end. I think this one was out of an all-wheel drive. I know one of them was an all-wheel drive, and I just didn't pay attention enough to see which one it was. But the big problem with using this Astro Safari shafts is that the ends aren't clocked correctly. On the third gen shaft, you'll see the bolt clamps in. Which side's the flat side? That side. So okay, so the bolt, you know, the bolt's going down this way, and on this end it's going across, and that's the way the D, it goes across the flats of the double D opening. On these, the double D opening is going like this. So if you were to install this straight up, your steering wheel would be cockeyed 90 degrees. The Jeep shaft, however, is a 100% bolt-in once you get it to collapse. This end goes this way and this end goes this way. When I say bolt-in, you'll know in the write-ups that that does not mean that you don't have to do anything to the car. It does require you to, if you can see in there where the pinch bolt goes through this clamp, you have to clearance your shaft a little bit. This does not bolt through the center like the third gen shaft does. Okay? Just from looking at this, right now this is really tough. It's really bound up. I'm gonna clean it out, and I'm sure it's just gunked up. They're not like heavy-duty car U-joints. They're fairly small. Just from looking at this versus this, I really like these Astro shafts. This, first of all, has a dampener in it, which I don't really care about. I don't really care about a little extra noise or vibration because the car is beyond, you know, beyond stock anyway. It's going to be loud. So I think I'm probably going to clean this up, get it working, get it so it's a bolt-on for somebody, and then I'm just going to get rid of it. I'm going to go with the Astro shafts, and I think I'm going to go with this one. This one, or this one here. Reason being is these collapse further than this one, and I'm not sure. I guess something to do with the all-wheel drive steering box, and it's very close. Like, I don't know. I feel like I don't know. This one has a beefier. I'm not sure. I might use this one too. We'll see. I'm gonna modify it and then see which one I like best. But what you got to do is we have to, if you can see in there, there's some peening right there. You have to grind that off, slide this end off, rotate it 90 degrees, put it back on, and then put some welds in it. So we're going to go over that next, and I'm also going to explore the option of using this bad boy. That is a 4th gen steering shaft. And if I can figure out how to make this work, which I don't think I can. You know what? Somebody mentioned doing it, and now that I'm looking at it, it's huge. This spline shaft, the actual shaft part's massive. So I don't know how they managed to get that on there. So we're gonna explore that option using this, because these are readily available too. So once I get a game plan going and I get started on this, I will start the video back up and we can see what happens. Just a little video show what I mean by grinding that. There's that peen, and I'm almost positive this is the side everybody rotates, not the other side. The other side looks like a pain. So the idea is to grind that back, and there's after I've been grinding on a little bit. I think I got it close. I think there's enough. I think I got it good enough to where if I were to give it a couple good whacks, it would push through. I looked at doing the 4th gen shaft. That's just not going to work for me. I think it's more work than it's worth. So I'm going to keep grinding on this. Okay, now you can kind of see the end goal here. You can see that the spline, you can see spline now all the way around. Come on, focus. I can get in there with a punch and hit the top of that shaft, but I feel like I'm doing more peening. So what I'm doing is I'm just holding it like this, and I'm just taking my hammer and giving it some whacks along those flanges. I might set the video camera up and show that. I don't know how much this is actually worth videotaping. More or less just showing you before and afters. So we'll maybe I will see. Just wanted to show you that's kind of what it looks like when you start to. That's when you know you've done enough grinding, when you can start to hit it and move it and see spline all the way around the shaft. That means that you're clear of the peening. Not hitting it super hard, just giving it nice taps, trying to tap straight down, rotate each time, and there it is, off. And I know which way it was to begin with because I put that dimple, but that's what it looks like. And here's the end. So what I'm going to do now is just clean this up a little bit. Probably with my file, just to get rid of some of the burrs that I created. Just to kind of clean it up. And then I'm going to fit it. And then I'm going to just chunk some weld in there. Now this is cast, so I don't know if it's worth doing a preheat, post-heat, and trying to actually weld onto this. What I'll end up doing is just welding into this really well and creating a weld peen, for a lack of a better term there. And then I don't know, we'll see what happens. See if this works. I don't know what I really don't know what to expect here. Guess I should have made sure that this end fits the box before I go much further, huh? I'll get back. All right, so we've got the we had the shaft mocked up, and now the only part that you have to really modify on the car is right here. If you look, I
I've already started to grind, and I decided I better show what I'm doing. But basically, I have my bolt set on top. So when you have this on, the bolt has to pass through there, clamps down. And because this used to have a bolt going through the center, there was no relief for a pinch bolt. So what you got to do is just come in here and just put a slight groove. What I already have done is deep enough. I just need to make it wide. Sorry if this is super loud. I just figured I'd show you. I'm just using an air grinder or an air die with a little bit, the piece of crap bit, and I'm just basically holding it in position using the booster as my brace, and I'm just going like this. I'm rotating it. That way I'm keeping it nice and straight, so I tend to go crazy. All right, here we go. All right, let's see where we're at. Don't need to cut more than we want to cut here. And I'm gonna call that good. So I'm gonna tighten that down. I just want to make sure that once it's tight, it still fits good. And I know that sounds silly because it probably will, but you know, it is my steering, so I figured what's another couple minutes of just checking it out. I am going to paint the steering shaft also because it'll rust up right away. Oh yeah, perfect. Okay, so on to the next step. We will get the get this U-joint back on the main shaft, put some weld on it, and then do a quick cleanup and spray it with some spray paint, and then we can kind of install this and be done with it. This is going to be a big deal for me because the way I have my brake lines run, they actually loop up over my steering shaft, which I'm sure it does on other people's cars too, but the way I have mine bent, it's so tight you couldn't get the shaft off very easily. This one should come off pretty easy because it's so small, it's so compact. So all right, we will maybe I'll videotape some welding. For lack of a better way to get this started, I just kind of been giving it some heavy taps, and you can see that it's almost home now. Might still turn it over and give it a couple more, but actually I don't think I will have to. We're so close now. I was trying not to hammer on this shaft too much just because I didn't want to goof it up for sliding into the receiving shaft, but I guess it's not really going to hurt anything. A couple more, and if this doesn't seat it all the way, I'll resort to hammering on it. There it goes. It's probably not focused up. There we go. It's in there. I might give it one or two more love taps, and then time to do some welding.
one. I wish I could slow it down a little bit. Nope. Knew that was going to happen. Ah, one more. Ah. Not going anywhere. Okay. Gas off. How hot is this? Not too bad.
I didn't, whew, man, that grease got hot in there, huh? Hope it doesn't all leak out. Hope that doesn't cause me a problem. Didn't think of that. Well, not the best welds in the world, but you get the point. Actually, you don't, because you can't see it. It's just welded, you know, put a good little glob on the end of the shaft, and that's going to act as peening to keep this from falling off. This isn't going anywhere. Hell, I had to pound it on there so hard, I doubt it would have went anywhere even without the welds, but they're on there. Now I'm going to put it together and do a quick test fit, and then if it fits still, I'm going to paint it. And here it is, fully installed. I just turned the wheel a bunch of times, make sure nothing hit or got in the way. Again, pardon all the mess in here. Today was supposed to be wiring day, but it's 1 o'clock now, and I just got done messing with this shaft, so pretty nice. I like it. Super compact, fits good. I think it's definitely, I mean, it's definitely stout. There's no wobble or anything. Any kind of play is down here. But it's definitely much better. So pull it off, we'll paint it, call it done. On to the next project, which is going to be, I'm plugging stuff in, man. I can't take this nest any more wires.